there are certain things that only parents of autistic children will ever understand. And as much as you might try to explain, as much as you might want to explain, there's some things that only you'll get. And even with fellow parents, you might relate to them, but your experience with your child is going to be a unique struggle. And sometimes it's hard. So in this video, I wanted to talk about some of the silent struggles that parents of autistic children experience, and also some encouragements for what we can do or how we can reframe them even when they're hard. If you're new here, I'm Katie, mom of 4, including an autistic 4-year-old, and I make content all about what I'm learning as I'm raising my son. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. I do also have my free autism visual starter kit linked down below. It's 3 free visuals to get you started with routines and things that should just help your daily life with your child. The first silent struggle is when people don't realize that your child is autistic. My son is almost 5, and he's getting to the point where, based on how old he looks, society kind of expects him to be able to do more things, to follow some basic directions, to not make loud noises, all of just what you would expect of a typical child. And I haven't gotten into like any crazy altercations with strangers in public, but definitely getting some more looks sometimes, and just he doesn't look autistic, and I put that in air quotes because nobody looks autistic. There's not a certain look. So one example is I took him to a frozen yogurt place, and I was so excited because they had good dairy-free options for him because we're doing a casein-free diet, and he was so excited. He just loved, like, it was like one of the self-serve places, so, like, pulling down the ice cream or the frozen yogurt and getting to choose the little toppings to put on. The concept for him of, like, we go and weigh it and pay for it, and then you don't get any more, even as I was trying to explain to him, like, "It's all done, this is our treat," it just, like, wasn't computing for him, and he kept wanting to go back and do the machines more. And so I was getting a lot of weird looks from people as I'm, like, playing, like, football, like, blockage, trying to get him to stop. And so I realized, like, in the future, maybe we go get frozen yogurt together and still have fun doing that, but then we need to leave the store and go enjoy it at home or go enjoy it outside of the sight of the machines, because just for him, that concept of, like, it's done is too hard for him right now. The hard thing for me in those moments is I'm trying to just enjoy this time out with my son, and it's hard to not notice those, like, weird looks in public. People clearly thinking like, "Hey, this child looks too old to be behaving this way," right? And that kind of leads to number 2, which is the general advice that parents give as kind of a one-size-fits-all that simply don't work for your child. And very well-meaning and well-intentioned people will say, "Oh, have you tried this?" Or, things like, because my autistic son has a twin brother, and so there's people who are asking about, like, our schooling choices with them, and, "Oh, you're not gonna separate them, are you?" Or things like that. And I have to do what's best for all my children individually. And so, honestly, we're not even totally sure what the situation is gonna be with kindergarten and all of that. But it might be that they aren't at the same school. It might be, we're talking about having my son do another year of pre-K because pre-K is so focused on, like, the social skills and, like, building the base blocks. And I don't want he's starting to recognize some letters and stuff, but, like, the connection to, like, that there's actual meaning to the letters, he's just not close to that. And so I don't want him to go in and be frustrated. And it's not like that picture of them going to kindergarten together like I thought would happen when I had twins. But I have to do what's best for my child. But there's people who aren't in that reality, who don't understand, who just, like, have this blanket, like, "Oh, well, if he watches his brother, he'll just get with the program." Or, "If you all just relax, then he's going to relax." And things like that might be well intentioned, but people really just don't understand, right? It's not their reality. The third silent struggle is the celebration you have when there's little bits of progress is something that others most of the time just don't even see. So they might see deficits where you see progress. This goes along with you knowing like the exact things that are going to support your child, right? So I know like the right to get him to respond and do what we need him to do. We have very specific vocabulary that we use, even like a tone of voice that we use, a very specific like if then that he can understand like some of those basic 1 and even 2-step instructions and do those things. But it doesn't always work out that like other people can see that, or they don't naturally know how to do it. They don't know how to respond. So like there was, for example, an after school program that we had him do last semester and thought all was going well. And then we tried to put him in a new class with the same company this semester. And they basically just told us they weren't able to support him the way he needs to be supported for him to do the class. And maybe I'll make another video about advocating and how you can help set your child up for success with something like that. I'm still in the process and processing that and what happened, but it was an example of like, I saw how much he loved the class he was in, even though he wasn't participating the same way the other kids were. Like he was excited to go. He was like humming the songs from the class. So it was very hard to have that happen where it shifted and they're like, oh, actually, like we can't support him right now. And it's a very good company. They're trying to come up with ways to support him and kids like him in the future, but stuff like that can happen. And it's disheartening for me. I had this recognition when that situation happened that this is probably just the first of many things like this as he's growing up that we're told he's not able to do or he's not able to do at this time. And I have to be in this weird balance of understanding, being supportive, and also advocating. And it's something that as parents of special needs children, I think we constantly have to be questioning, like, of course we should be advocating, but where is it appropriate to advocate? How is it appropriate to advocate? That's related to number 4, which is just the emotional weight of it. And that's something like that situation that came up with them saying like, oh, he can't actually be in this extracurricular class, and seeing as the parent the good that it was doing for him, and then having to pull back on that and respect their decision. The times that he is struggling with a meltdown and I'm trying to like be there for him, and sometimes I'm emotionally dysregulated and I'm trying to calm myself down so I can properly be there for him. Oftentimes, when he's starting to have like his times of dysregulation are oftentimes when like other kids are starting to get dysregulated. So I have multiple kids who are needing me in different ways and just trying to like stay calm in those moments. And there is stress that builds from those times happening and sometimes happening repeatedly. I don't want to complain and say this happens all the time and this is just my everyday, because I know for some people that is their everyday. There's like meltdowns all day, every day. And we've done a lot to help reduce meltdowns. And so it's gotten a lot better, but it does still happen and it will continue to happen sometimes because we're human and we have hard days. Because of his autism, his nervous system gets heightened way faster, right? And so no matter what we do, we're going to continue to try to tweak it and make it better for him, but no matter what we do, it's going to be hard sometimes. And that does put emotional weight on the parents as well when that happens. And then that's related to number 5, which is feeling like the only one who like truly understands your child and sees the struggles that your child's having, as well as just the beauty and the amazingness that is your child. And while that is a struggle to see that the world doesn't see your child the way you do, I also am trying to look at it with a spirit of gratitude and to say, I have been given this gift and this beautiful son, and I can see how he hears a helicopter and runs out to go try to find it before any of us even would hear, or none of us would even like register it, right? Like, and he just has this appreciation for these little things in life, or the way that he plays with his dad, and he just has this amazing laugh, or he likes to sing songs with me and we sing back and forth. And it can feel lonely sometimes to like know that other people don't see that. And I don't want to say nobody else sees it, because we have people who were around a long time. We have like his grandparents and aunts and uncles, and there are definitely people in our lives who really do see the beauty that is our sweet boy. It's just there's also that acknowledgement that the world doesn't see it naturally the same way. And yeah, it's hard sometimes. With all these struggles, I want to just encourage you that you're not alone in the moment when it's happening. It feels very alone, but we have communities like this, and comment down below what some of your silent struggles are so that others know that they're not alone either. But taking that and saying, okay, like I have been given this child to be the parent of this child through the good times and the bad times. And like the love you have for your child doesn't take away the struggle, but it can also be this giving of strength for you. And so nobody else is going to be there and advocate for your child the way that you can. I encourage you to take those little moments where you are seeing the joy, the beauty, the wonder that is your child, where you're also understanding your child's struggles better than anybody else in the world does, and saying, okay, I am going to rise to the occasion. I'm going to be the exact parent that my baby needs me to be. Thank you so much for watching. Again, share anything that might be helpful to fellow autism parents down below, and I hope you have a wonderful week.